ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is your virus show, your virus update on what's happening in China with the virus. Let's get started. Let's take a look. Let's open up the charts right here. Now, this is a big deal, and a lot of people are missing this. The WHO, the World Health Organization, is sending a team to Beijing to investigate the epidemic. I'm going to tell you what. I'll use an illustration for you guys. If there was a woman, Martha, and she was cooking for the baked goods sale that they were going to have at the big fair, at the exhibition or whatever, and she said, "Okay, I'll cook the pies." Okay, so they said, "Okay, Martha, you can cook the pies." So Martha goes home to cook the pies. And they're in touch with her over the telephone. And first Martha calls them and says, "I've cooked 100 pies." They say, "No, you couldn't have. How did you cook really, 100 pies?" And then she calls up again and says, "I've cooked 250 pies. And then 500 pies. And then 1,000 pies." After a while, they'd start to wonder. They'd start saying, "Gee, these numbers, these pies, sounds weird, How could she be cooking so many pies? We got to go over and see for ourselves, see all these pies." Because they'd start to wonder about her, Well, this is what's going on with the WHO. They're sending a team to Beijing. Now, imagine this, if you will. Imagine this. This is like something out of some sort of science fiction horror movie, slash outbreak movie or something like that, where it's like a science fiction thriller or whatever, a thriller, those kind of movies, like action movies or whatever, okay? Where the team is called in the middle of the night because there's a massive outbreak in the world, and they come knocking on their door in the middle of the night, and he answers the door, and he says, and they're all urgent, "You got to come with us to these secret headquarters. We're going here tomorrow, Well, these people, they're going into the hot zone. China's the hot zone. They're heading to China. And, I'm going to tell you what. These men should be respected. They're going into this hot zone, should be respected just as much as a soldier who's going to war. Because they're putting their lives on the line. There's no cure for this disease. This disease is extremely contagious. They're going into the hot zone, and they know the risks. If we look down, here's the leader of the team, right here, who's going into the hot zone. And they are going to take precautions. They're probably going to be dressed like this when they go in. But you got to understand, they can't dress like this 24/7. They're probably going to be there for days. They can't dress like this 24/7. Probably at their motel room. I mean, this disease is spreading. This is an epidemic. I mean, and the carriers of this disease can go up to 14 days and not show any symptoms. I mean, they could go into their hotel, and heck, that somebody might have it that's cooking their food and bringing their food up to their hotel, while they have their suits off. So these men are putting themselves in extreme great danger for all of us, because I'm going to guarantee you, they're going in because they want to know what's really going on in the situation with China. They want to investigate. They're forming a team. They're going in themselves to see what's going on, what's really going on with this coronavirus. They're sending the team to Beijing to investigate. What that says to me, and it says it very clearly, is that they want to see what's really going on in China. They want the real information, and they're going in themselves to see what's really going on in China. There's been an awful lot of conflicting reports about the numbers coming out of China, conflicting reports. There's been pictures and stuff of bodies in body bags and stuff. There's been on social media and stuff, there's putting big question marks over just exactly how bad really is this epidemic. Okay? So these guys are wanting to go in and see for themselves, but they're putting themselves in danger for all of us. And my best guess, my best estimate on the situation is that they are only receiving the same information that we're receiving from China. They want to go in and they want to see for themselves. Okay, so do not have too much harsh words for the WHO and the Center for Disease Control, because they are working in our best interest in all of this. We have a virus outbreak right now that is threatening the entire world. And these guys are putting their lives on the line. Can you imagine? Their palms must be sweating right now about the idea of having to go into this hot zone, because there's no cure for this virus. And one mistake, these guys make one mistake in the hot zone, and they could come down with the virus, and they could quite literally die. They're putting their lives on the line for us. So, in a way, they're just as big a hero as the man that goes to the war to fight for his country. Okay? Let's get that clear. Let's take a look and see what the virus is doing today according to the Chinese numbers. But these are not all Chinese numbers. These numbers that are coming out from other countries, like Japan, Thailand, Hong Kong, these numbers, I've been watching them very carefully. Thank goodness the United States is staying at 12. Those were the 12 initial cases. The number's not going up in the United States. The number's not going up in Canada. And the number is not going up significantly in the United Kingdom. Thank goodness. Because I think this is a terrifying disease. Okay? Thank goodness the numbers are not going up. But what about China? The numbers are increasing. And these are Chinese numbers, and this is why this team's going in to take a look for themselves, I would say. They want to check and verify things. Doing it for us, guys. They're doing it for us. They're our watchdog. The WHO and the Center for Disease Control are our watchdogs to protect us from these kind of things. These kind of things like these viruses. And they're doing their best, you know. Sure, they make mistakes. They're only human, like the rest of us, you know. And they only are able to work from the available information. And because of the internet, the way the internet is now, we get access to the information just like they do, you know. And in fact, a lot of people in the United States, just regular people like you and me and everybody else that takes an interest in this virus, knows probably almost about as much of what this virus is doing as the experts. Because they're only getting the same information that we're getting, and they're having to process it the same way that we're processing it. We're all in the same boat. We're trying to figure this thing out, and we're trying to stay ahead of it. But it's moving so fast, it's taking us by surprise, like the cruise ships. Those people, when they left the dock to go out on the cruise ship, you know, to go out in the sea, they never had a clue it was going to turn into the cruise from hell. Believe me. Or they wouldn't have went. None of them would have went. And they paid a lot of money to go on these cruises, you know, a big cruise, and they looked forward to it for weeks and months. And it's turned into this because of this stupid virus. You see these others here on the list? These are the ones, a lot of them, that come down sick on the cruise ships. And there's still, you know, a cruise ship evidently here in Tokyo Harbor waiting to be through their quarantine period. From what I understand, one of the cruise ships let people off. They let them off. They tested them and let them off of the cruise ship, from what I understand. That's what I've heard recently. Anyway, listen, guys. It's a very serious situation. We have to keep our eye on it, really, really keep our eye on it really good, because this virus is terrible. It's doing the same thing that the virus in 1918 did. It's, I can't think of what the reaction's called, but it's the 1918 Spanish flu had that same type of response, the body's response, where it shut down the organs. Yeah, and I can't think of the name of that response right now. But this is following the same pattern. It's doing that same thing where it shuts down the body organs, and then the person dies. The 1918 Spanish influenza did the same thing. And a thought ran through my head, a few minutes ago. I don't think they've ever been able to recover the actual Spanish influenza germ, the actual virus of the Spanish influenza. They always guess at what it was because they don't have any anymore. It went through the earth and then it disappeared, back in 1918. You never know. Maybe this is the same thing. Maybe this is the Spanish influenza. That's the thought that just went through my mind, this morning. Because we don't know what the Spanish influenza actually was. Back then they called it the grip or the flu, But this behaves like a flu, and could the people of 1918 actually have, because they didn't have the modern science we have to actually analyze the virus itself, could they have actually thought, could this been it? This might be the Spanish flu. I mean, that was just a thought that went through my head, because I don't think we know. I don't think we've got any Spanish flu. I mean, they were trying to dig some corpses up and recover some of the Spanish flu, but I don't think they were really successful. Anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening to this report. That's just a little bit of me thinking, what if? I mean, there's no real evidence for that. This is the Spanish flu. It's just me thinking, what if it, sort of thing. Me theorizing, or there's nothing verifying that. That's a complete, something that just come up in my mind, Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.